Hi everybody, it's Dr. Virdee, and I had some time today, so I figured I would record a video. And today's video is going to be about one of my favorite superfoods that's native to the United States. But before I get into it, I just wanted to give you a disclaimer. I have the house technically to myself, but I am bird sitting two very large and loud exotic birds, so you may hear them in the background. With that said, when we think about superfoods, we often think about foods that are really high in antioxidants. The high number of antioxidants are actually what help to support our health. But I think that we also have this internal bias, especially if we are interested in pursuing healthy living. We tend to think that superfoods are these exotic foods that we need to import from other countries that are rare or cost a lot of money. But really, there are a lot of superfoods that just aren't talked about as much as they could be. And the superfood that I love that's native here to the United States, actually New Jersey is the third largest producer of this superfood, is cranberries. So these are some fresh cranberries, and there's so many ways that you can prepare and enjoy cranberries, not just as cranberry sauce, but in many other dishes throughout the winter months. And if you follow me on Instagram or on Facebook, you'll be able to see regular updates of ways that I incorporate cranberries into my diet. And cranberries, so one of the things about them is native people in the United States, they would call their word for cranberries often translated into sour berries. And you'll notice that they are incredibly sour if you eat them raw, and they're also very bitter. So the bitter and sour properties of herbs and foods actually help to stimulate digestion. They stimulate digestive juices, our salivary glands, and so they can actually be very tonifying to our digestion. In fact, in one study done on adults who were on proton pump inhibitors, which are a type of antacid that blocks acid production in the stomach, it was found that adults who ate cranberries with meals that were high in protein-bound B12 actually had an increase in absorption of vitamin B12, which is important because adults, especially geriatric aged adults, tend to have low B12 absorption in general. But being on an acid blocking agent, the acid is what helps us absorb B12 and folate and calcium and magnesium. And if we don't have that acid, we can develop nutrient deficiencies. So that's one aspect of the bitter sour flavor. The other thing is that bitter and sour flavors tend to be what we call astringent herbs. So they're able to tonify not only our skin, but also our mucous membranes, so in our nose, in our GI tract, in our mouths. So they end up reducing inflammation in that way of those tissues. And especially in the nose, there can be a lot of inflammation that leads to congestion and swelling, which I think a lot of people are noticing as our weather is changing and it's becoming colder and drier. So the other thing about cranberries is that we often think about them for urinary tract infections. So they help to reduce the adherence of E. coli, which is a common bacteria that causes yeast infections, but they also modulate bacteria in our gastrointestinal tract, so they can help to support healthy types of bacterial growth. We tend to think about fermented foods as doing that, but cranberries also have the properties of being able to modulate our bacteria. In terms of the nutritional value, cranberries come from the same family as other berries, and a lot of the proanthocyanidins and anthocyanins in cranberries are the same antioxidants that you find in blueberries. And so antioxidants, they're specifically helpful for overcoming oxidative damage in our bodies. So when I say oxidative damage to a patient, I'm thinking about a couple of things. The first thing is our body creates oxidative damage just from day-to-day activities like breathing, expending energy, a muscle contracting. All of that involves our mitochondria, our energy warehouses, to produce energy. And at the same time, the byproducts are free radicals and oxidative damage. So it's just a part of living, similar to if you see an iron rail outside, when it's just existing outside and being exposed to the elements, it will rust. And that's also because of oxidative damage. So everybody is producing oxidative damage naturally as a process of aging and living. So eating foods that are high in antioxidants can overcome that oxidative damage. But oxidative damage also can happen when people are under stress. It can deplete our body of nutrients like vitamin C and zinc and selenium that help to overcome oxidative stress. And so people who are stressed may have lower levels of antioxidants and may, as a result, have decreased immune function. The other thing about oxidative stress is that our bodies can also experience oxidative damage when we're being exposed to environmental chemicals. So specifically toxins in the air, toxins in our water. We're constantly being exposed, and having good quality antioxidants in our diets are one of the ways to reverse things that we have no control over in terms of exposure to our health. So when you're consuming foods that are high in antioxidants like cranberries, our blood levels of antioxidants actually increase. And so those antioxidants are available in our bloodstream and to our tissues. One of the effects of the increased level of antioxidants in our bloodstream is the effect of reducing our cholesterol levels and reducing any consequences like stroke or cardiovascular accidents that may occur due to a buildup of plaque in our blood vessels. So the development of plaque often involves oxidative damage of the blood vessels, and having circulating antioxidants can help with that. And studies have found that the antioxidants in cranberries can actually help with not only blood pressure, but also high cholesterol. There's also properties of cranberries where the genetic expression of genes that are linked to neurodegenerative diseases, diabetes, cardiovascular disease, and our increased risk of certain cancers are actually modulated. So the expression of these genes are balanced by the antioxidants that you find in cranberries. So cranberries have a lot of health benefits. I think one of the reasons why it's being found to be protective against neurodegenerative diseases is that cranberries can help to regulate our blood sugar levels. It's been found that it can regulate insulin levels, and Alzheimer's and other neurodegenerative diseases are being found to be linked to, in some cases, linked to high blood sugar levels, and certain types of dementia are being called diabetes type 3 because of the effects that high blood sugar levels are having on the tiny blood vessels in our brain, leading to dementia-like symptoms. So I love eating cranberries in the fall. I love sharing recipes with my friends and family, and I will be sharing some of my favorite recipes with you. I love when we can find superfoods that are local to where we live, and we can support our local farmers and local environment. So give them a shot. They're delicious. Don't eat them raw. You'll definitely want to cut the bitter and sour flavor with some sort of citrus. And I would recommend using a natural sweetener like honey or maple syrup in order to help balance out the strong, bitter, and astringent flavors. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you go out and incorporate cranberries into your diet if you aren't already. If you are, please comment and share your favorite ways of eating cranberries, and I'm wishing all of you a safe and happy Thanksgiving this next week.